Man, it's really funny how comedy sequels are a dime a dozen, and they're usually horrible and worse than so much more worse than the first film, even if the first film wasn't considered that great. But I've noticed that there's a weird trend going on where we get so many comedy sequels because they're so easy to churn out and so easy to make with little effort. And it's funny that we get all these. Like last year, we got Bad Santa 2 and Zoolander 2, which Zoolander 2 was dog shit, and Bad Santa 2 was not good. I laughed a couple times, but it was really bad. And now we come to our newest comedy sequel this year, Bad Mom's Christmas, which the first Bad Moms I watched on a whim. I just was bored, and I'm not the audience for it, but I thought, hey, it might be a little funny. And I think the people who did The Hangover did that too, which I'm not a fan of either, but I was thinking, well, maybe I might like this one. And I watched Bad Moms 1 and thought it was fine, honestly. I didn't think it was terrible, I didn't think it was amazing, but I actually genuinely laughed at a lot of things in that movie. And then 1 year later, we get this one, which, honestly, you could definitely everybody can definitely call this a bad movie, even a terrible movie, because a lot of the jokes fall flat. A lot of the jokes are, even though the first film isn't very creative with the jokes, this one is less creative, and the jokes make no sense sometimes. They're just there to say jokes. But I'd be lying if I didn't laugh my ass off at a lot of scenes in this movie, and I honestly am so surprised because, like the first one, I laughed a lot, despite it not being great. And this one has a lot more bad moments in it, but there are moments that genuinely get me because of the actors involved. I think that they're really good, even though they've got bad writing and bad dialogue. But they make the movie for me, if that makes sense. Like the writing is terrible, but the actresses are really good. Like Mila Kunis and Kristen Bell and Catherine Hahn. I really like these actresses. I think that they really are funny despite what they've got going for them in terms of the quality of the writing and everything. Especially Catherine Hahn. I think that she, like the first film, is the funniest one because she's just the raunchy one who says crazy stuff that, based on her performance, like, makes me laugh. Like, she is genuinely funny in these movies, and I haven't seen her in anything else. I don't think I have, but I kind of want to see what else she's been in because she makes this movie, and I think that she made the first one in terms of the funniest character. I think that she was great, despite having some dumb things to say, like in the writing. She makes it funny, and I really like when an actor can do that, where they can bring something to something that's bad. I think that that's really, really cool, and I commemorate her for that because she just is one of those actresses that anything she says is funny, and I think that it worked really well in this and in the first one. And this is an interesting sequel in which they're not bad moms anymore. It doesn't make sense why they're bad moms. There's one scene where they go to the mall and get hammered and steal a Christmas tree and put vodka in, like, juice shots like that a woman at the mall is selling, or I mean free samples for. And they have this scene like the first one where they're in, like, the grocery store in the first one and they do all this crazy shit while they're drunk. And in this one they do that too, but in context of the movie, it doesn't really make sense because they're not really bad moms anymore, and they weren't in the first one. In the first one, they just wanted to stop being so overly pushed around by their kids and their husbands and whatever, that they decided to become quote-unquote bad moms, where they just didn't do everything for their families. And not like they didn't leave them with anything, but they didn't do as much so the kids and the fathers would feel more thankful for them for what they do. But in this one, it's not that, because they're not bad moms in this. I mean, besides Catherine Hahn, but her character is supposed to be just kind of a shitty person because her son is quote unquote almost like mentally retarded in a way, and she treats him bad like that. But he's got probably something like that where he doesn't think straight about it. but it's funny how she's kind of a bad mom still. I mean, she still has a home for the kid. She takes care of the kid. She just uses his like stupidness, I guess you could say, to, but she is still a good mom, I guess, in a way, like a good mom and a bad mom. But I thought that in this movie they're not really bad moms at all. They just, the thing they want in this movie is to quote unquote get back Christmas, and that's what Mila Kunis's character says. Like, we need to get back Christmas, and in this movie, all three of them get their moms who come visit under different circumstances. They all just come and visit them, either them knowing or them not knowing. And like Mila Kunis's mom, Christine Baranski, is a crazy bitch who treats Mila Kunis like she's nothing. And then you've got Cheryl Hines, which is Kristen Bell's character's mother, who is borderline psychotic and insane and has shirts and outfits with Kristen Bell's face plastered all over her clothes. It is kind of, I know it's for comedic effect, but it is weird. It just, to me, it just kind of, it wasn't really funny. It was just, it was so, like, it was, I know it was for comedic effect, but it didn't make me laugh in that sense. And then you've got, like, Catherine Hahn's mom, which was played by Susan Sarandon, who is kind of this homeless woman who goes around with truckers and, like, goes around and just drive, like, she rides along with them. She doesn't really have a home, and she wants loans from Catherine Hahn because Catherine Hahn is actually doing pretty okay. Like, she works at a spa. But I liked how, even though this movie is unoriginal and you could definitely say it's a bad movie, but I think the actresses really did bring it, and I thought even though the writing that they are working with is bad, their line reads make it funny. Like, Catherine Hahn makes it really funny. Kristen Bell makes it funny. Mila Kunis makes it funny. The way that they all just work off of each other, I think, is fun. So I'm not saying it's a good movie. I'm just saying it's entertaining. And honestly, I'm not usually into these type of movies. I'm not the demographic for this kind of movie. I'm not a mom, but I liked it. I thought that it was definitely a bad movie, but it entertained me. It didn't piss me off. Quality aside, I thought it was entertaining. So, and I thought that, like I said, just the humor was bad, but the actresses made it good, or at least for me, funny line reads that they did, even though the quality of the writing is bad. So this is a weird one. It's definitely I wouldn't say it's terrible for me personally, because I thought that there were things that entertained me about it with the actresses saying these bad lines, but they made them funny. And honestly, this was an easy sit. I watched this, honestly, reading reviews thinking that this was going to be god-awful and not funny at all, but I thought it was funny, despite the bad writing. But I think that I heard that this was just as bad as, like, Zoolander 2, Bad Santa 2, the recent comedy sequels that have come out that were terrible. And this is no way for me as bad as Zoolander 2 at all. That movie is dog shit. And then no way is this as bad as Bad Santa 2, which I laughed once or twice the whole movie. And this one I laughed, honestly, continually throughout it. And I don't know what that says about me personally, but I say that if a comedy makes me laugh, despite it being a bad film, I think that it is still, for me, entertaining enough to where I enjoyed it, but I'm not saying it's a good movie. You understand what I mean? It doesn't... I'm not saying it's something great, but it's something that, for me personally, I enjoyed. Like, there are shitty movies that I've enjoyed, shitty comedies, that are guilty pleasures. Like this is hard to say, but man, but White Chicks was one of those movies I saw as a kid, and I know it's terrible. I know it's a terrible movie, but I crack up in that movie. I don't know why. It's just... it's so bad and so dumb, but, like, this feels like it's in that type of category of bad comedy, but I still laugh at it despite that. So this is just one of those movies that I'm not disagreeing with anybody in which it's a bad movie. I think it is, but I did laugh, and I laughed because of the performances. I thought they were really good for the work they were given in this movie. I thought they were really funny, and I did like the idea of just having the moms, come in and kind of just cause like trouble. I thought that was entertaining, but it's just light fluff. It's just a light fluff raunchy R-rated comedy, and it's a sequel. And honestly, like I said, I thought I was getting a lot worse, and I thought I wouldn't laugh at all, but I laughed a lot in this movie. So I think that means something, because it is a comedy. So even if it's a bad movie technically, but it makes me laugh, that's fine with me. It's something that, for me, my taste, I liked it. I liked it as a dumb comedy. So not disagreeing with anybody that is bad. Just, it's one of those comedies that I thought was funny, but it's not a good movie. You get what I mean? But overall, just, it wasn't a bad sit. It was something that I enjoyed despite its badness.